Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to PSGL Premier Sim Gaming League for something a little bit different. We're here for the PSGL E Series, our new esports tournament, fully fed £1,000 prize pool, a 10-race season, and we are getting ready to go for the qualifiers here in Suzuka in Japan. My name is Joshua Davis, and alongside me is a man who needs no introduction. It's Dan Field. Dan, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. PSGL thought they could get rid of me, but I'm back for the E Series. It's a pleasure to be here this evening alongside you, Josh, getting ready for the qualifying night of the E Series, where the top 5 teams will be advancing from this evening to be taking on the 5 pro teams. It's going to be very exciting tonight.
It absolutely is. We'll get you through all the lobbies for you. So here in lobby 1, which is just about to get ready in a couple of moments' time, RFRO Esports there obviously made their names well known in R Factor 2 and also in iRacing, taking a jump into F1 with a very, very good lineup as well. I'm sure that the French nation will definitely understand. Team Shazoo, of course, a very, very famous league and a very, very famous organization. Of course, they're making their way through in here. Kevin Ballas and Nelson Alves at their disposal tonight with SRT Esports. Obviously, those guys back in the day, one of the best teams back from that day, and coming back in with Connor Lefted and Leroy Brown at their disposal. VSR, the team have pretty much done absolutely everything on the F1 game, have pretty much won anything you can imagine. They have Aston Martin development driver Duncan Hoffland at their disposal alongside Andre Tarabukin. ET8, another very, very famous team from the Spanish side of things. They have a fully German lineup tonight of Yannick Schmidt and Leonard Goetze. And then finally, we have Team QRT as well, and they are a very, very good team as well, mainly on the PlayStation platform, but have made their presence known on PC as well, and they will be lined up with Elias Pizarros and Mikolai Norwicki at their disposal. Into lobby 2, then we'll get you ready with all our lobbies. We do not have TF1 anymore. They have pulled out. We have NLI Esports. Of course, they'll be joined with Leo Lund and Julio Figueroa with alongside FRT Racing, Future Racing Team, mainly on the Xbox platform. Obviously, have recently come in to PC as well. They have a very, very good lineup for you as well, alongside Jay Kennedy and Goncalo Barros. With Trust Esports, another French team, making their debut tonight in the E-Series alongside all of our teams tonight. A very, very good team as well. They're joined by TRS Seb and TRS Zyro alongside WR Esports, obviously one of the biggest teams, biggest console leagues on the platform as well. They are definitely one of the big shots for the for qualification tonight. They're joined by Justin That Racer and Dimitri Minik, and alongside them RTF10, of course, a very, very well famous known team as well over in the Spanish side of things. They are joined by Max Whistle and Dylan Warren alongside their team tonight. And finally, into lobby 3, we have Parnell Racing. Obviously, very, very strong links with the Red Bull Esports team. Liam Parnell, his team, of course, the driver for the Red Bull Racing Esports Association, alongside Paradox Sim Racing PSR, of course, making their presence known on PC last season, coming in for a little bit more. And they are joined alongside tonight, if I can find them somewhere. PSR are joined tonight by, if I can actually find them on my notes, there we go, it's Primoz Mikljevic and Andrew Karapi at their disposal, alongside Vroom Racing, another French team tonight with Lenny Pepinta and Jeremy Gallonier, and then FVR, our final team of the challenge of the E Series is Lucas Ushi and Nardi Perez. And Dan, it is a really, really good lineup all the way through. All our teams are absolutely fantastic, and obviously we have our pro teams to offer as well.
Absolutely, of course, the top 5 of all these teams you're seeing in lobbies 1, 2, and 3, they're going to be battling it out for the 5 remaining places in the E-Series. It's going to make for a great event tonight. I can't wait for it to get underway.
Absolutely. I think we are about to get ready to go at the moment in time as we log in to qualifying for the first time. This is lobby 1. So at the first side of things, which is a short qualifying time, of course. And then we will get the quickest team times from all our teams to get ready to go. And we will move over to lobby 2. All our times are getting noted down, so we will decide who goes in and who will be eliminated. Obviously at Suzuka, of course, very, very, very famous circuit, of course, alongside a lot of controversy over the years and some fantastic moments. But yeah, it is a very nice track to get us started, wouldn't you think, Dan?
Yeah, this is one of my favourite circuits on the F1 game, and I mean, you know, it doesn't make for as great a races as it does qualifying. Of course, it's very difficult to overtake on this circuit. So I'd imagine the drivers are a lot more happy to be going out just for the 18-minute qualifying session and then leaving it at that. We got some drivers coming out onto the circuit as we speak, and I believe the first man out on circuit would be Connor Muir, that's of SRT.
Absolutely. Connor Muir will make his stance known at the first side of things of the PSGL E-Series. Everest joins him as well alongside his teammate of Leroy Brown, Elias Pizarros, also as they all start tumbling in for their first couple of laps. Don't usually see this in league racing. All of the drivers coming in straight out for their first couple of runs. You usually see it a little bit later on, or sometimes they use the intermediate tyres to start their first couple of runs, but they're going to go fully fed out for the soft compound tyres runs. Obviously the aim of this one, try and get as many laps as possible, and obviously the quickest times as possible. Connor Muir will be the first one to join us on the track, and we'll have a ride on board with them once we get around these final couple of corners into Sector 2 and into Sector 3. Connor Muir, of course, SRT lefted, as he is well known on the PC and Xbox side of things. Once upon a time, of course, as he comes in to 130R, and also the Castillo Triangle will be his next opponent as he comes flying through 130R and into Castillo Triangle. And let's take a lap around the Suzuka circuit with Connor Muir as he rounds the left-hander out of the final corner, fully flat out and on board with a lap of the Suzuka circuit here in Japan. DRS wide open straight away for the McLaren driver under the Honda banner and in towards turn 1. You want to be a little bit of a kiss on the brakes under the 50-meter board, down into 4th, up into 5th for that traction, running onto the curves from the left-hand side, then the fast-flowing sectors, the sort of S's, if you like, of the left on towards the right, to the left once again, and another winding right. Very, very hard on the traction if you do get it wrong. Into a flick of the left-hander, which ends your Sector 1 run across the line. He will come, and it's a 32.213 for lefted into Degner 1 and into Degner 2. Nice and tidy from the SRT man, and then into a very tricky corner on the left-hand side. A little bit of a hill as you enter, and then obviously as you exit early on the power as much as you can, and across towards Sector 2 and into Spoon Corner. Under the road expanders, keeping as tight as you can to the right-hand side of the white line, flying towards that first left-hander, riding on towards the curbs again, and into the second left, riding on towards those curves on the exit as you enter into 130R. Under the Rolex banner once again, and flying towards this fully flat out. Of course, in these modern day cars, once upon a time, you probably could have taken that a little bit with a left, braking hard at the 100-meter board, flick on towards the right, a flick on towards the left for Connor Muir around the final corner, keeping tight towards the light line, and across the line we have a 1 minute 28.328 is our first time on the board. Not a bad banker, Dan.
Not bad at all, but it is already beaten by Leonard Gertzer to go ahead of Lefted's teammate. Leroy Brown goes into 4th position now because Yannick Smith makes it a 1-2 for ET8 so far. Elias Pizarros goes into 4th position, splitting the two SRT drivers at the moment. Trying to see who's on a lap at this point in time. I'm seeing two BSR drivers who do need to watch out for them, Duncan Hoffland and Andrei Tarabukin, as Tarabukin heads in towards Spoon Curve. He's about to complete his lap as Nelson Alves goes into 5th position. We'll see what the Aston Martin driver can do as he comes across the line now to go into P4. Duncan Hoffland, his teammate, in that final sector at the moment. I do not believe that the Williams ever SRSTT, I hope I'm saying that one right, he's not set a proper lap time at the moment, so I believe he's going again, which leaves Duncan Hoffland coming up towards the line. Can he beat the 1 minute 28.127 set by Yannick Schmidt? Not a bad effort. He goes into 3rd position with a 1 minute 28.294.
Absolutely. Looking very, very good for the ET8 boys so far. Looking out that front row with a 1-2 and looking pretty tasty to get into the qualification rounds. Duncan Hoffland puts it in there for P3 for VSR alongside his teammate of Andrei Tarabukin into P5 as well. So not bad for ET8 and not bad for VSR as well. Shazoo sits 7th and 8th with Kevin and Nelson Earls with Elias Pizarros splitting the two in P6 at 28.469 for the Ferrari man alongside Juskill in 10th and Everest in P11, who's going to have to go again on his lap, but he's invalidated somewhere along there and he's going to have to try for one more lap. Nikolai Nowicki as well, yet to set a time on the board as he's just come out of the pit lane right about now. And he'll be the last one to set the first couple of runs in this first qualifying session. ET8 Yannick Schmidt is topping the time sheet, so 28.127 and just about 600ths quicker than his teammate of Leonard Goetze. But yeah, so far, Dan, ET8 are pretty much in paradise.
Absolutely, they seem to be the clear front runners at the moment. Currently P1 and P2, I'd imagine that it's VSR in second, then probably SRT in third as we speak, and Shazoo in fourth. I'm just sort of basically roughly basing it off of where their positions are on circuit. Given that we have all the drivers in the pit lane at the moment, besides Shazoo, Kevin, and then Nikolai Nowicki, I'd imagine that we're going to have consistent action tonight, as I'm already seeing one of the McLaren drivers coming back out onto the circuit. That wouldn't surprise me if it is Connor Muir, and indeed it is, of course, the first driver to set a lap in this session. He's strapped on a fresh set of boots. He'll be coming out onto the circuit to begin his out lap, and let's hope he doesn't get in the way of Nikolai as he begins his lap in the Ferrari.
Absolutely. Nikolai Nowicki will cross the line right about now and starts his first attempt in the qualifiers. Nikolai Nowicki, obviously his teammate of Elias Pizarros in P6 so far for QRT. Not too bad a start for the QRT team in the Ferrari tonight, as we see how they go through Sector 1 then with his teammate of Nikolai Nowicki flying towards Sector 1, then getting quite airy out of the curb and riding onto that exit curb once again, flying towards Degner 1, then a flick of the wrist on the right, and another flick towards the right once again, breaking a little bit of a kiss on the 50-meter bar for Degner 1, then flying towards the kink fully flat out until you hit an immediate stop under the left-hander of the hairpin, then higher up towards the spoon corner, flying as much as you can towards that right-hand white line on towards the curves, and then a flick towards the left once again for Nikolai Nowicki on towards the curves and into the exits once again, and then you head up to 130R, flying towards the line as Connor Muir just in front of him, hopefully doesn't get in his way. No, he doesn't. A little bit of a slip, wouldn't hurt anyone. Comes Nikolai Nowicki flying towards the Casio Triangle once again, braking hard on the 100-meter board, hop on towards the right, hop on towards the left, and then fully flat out for the rest of the lap towards the line. He will come. Nikolai Nowicki will put his Ferrari car into P10 with a 128.669. Not so bad, but we can definitely try and hope for more.
It's quite a ways off. The two ET8 drivers at the top of the order at this moment in time. We'll hope for QRT's sake that the pair of them, both Elias and Nikolai, can get their laps properly in order. SRT left in, of course. Connor Muir's just gone past the Ferrari driver in his McLaren and all, having a little bit of a slide through the Estes section. It's not going to help his time by any means, but through the Dunlop curve, where it's very easy to run wide on that right hand side, but Connor Muir faces no such issues, down by just 200ths of a second on his previous best lap as he goes underneath I believe that's 130R. Actually, of course, this is the only figure 8 circuit on the Formula 1 calendar now, in towards this hairpin where he stays away from that apex on the inside, gets on the power early and keeps it in around about 4th gear as he now takes his short winding straight in towards Spoon curb. Let's see what he can do as he hits the braking zone just after the 50-meter board, using all the curbs both on the inside and on the outside, using the extremities of this track, but it's looking a bit scrappy for Connor Muir as he now heads towards the second sector split. Where's he going to be in regards to his previous best time? He's down by almost 2/10.
Yeah, not looking good on that attempt for SRT Lefted, as Everest having a crash into Sector 1. So that is the end of his time. And of course, with PSGL down in P11, it's not looking good for the RFRO team, of course. So they're going to be trying to hope for a little bit more as Leroy Brown sticks it into P6 for SRT. And it looks a little bit better for that for the McLaren boys as well. As we flick on over to the rest of the grid, one of the Shazoo drivers just coming towards the line. That's Nelson Alves into P6 for Mercedes. The Red Bulls are crossing the line as well, as Leonard Goetzer just about to cross the line. I think he's just crossed it. Could not improve, but I tell you who can improve is his teammate of Yannick Schmidt, who goes into a 128.122, and it's so close between the ET8 boys, less than about 200ths of a second between them. Absolutely incredible all the way through. Duncan Hoffland is going to complete his lap this time around. He makes his way through into Sector 1. Trying to see who is next to along the line. I think it might be Shazoo Kevin in the Mercedes. He's invalidated his time, so we'll go to Andre Tarabukin, the other Aston Martin for VSR tonight, as he comes towards 130R, flying towards the line, almost 3/10 up on his personal best. This is looking like a 28-0 for Andre Tarabukin, which could put him on the front row, up towards the left, up towards the right, staying tight towards the line as you enter under the chicane, in towards the checkered flag, and it is pole position at 28.002. We are agonizingly close to the 27s, Dan.
Absolutely, that's a very nice time indeed for Andre Tarabukin. He's dethroning Yannick Schmidt from the top of the order at the moment. It's still looking great for ET8 and VSR, really taking control of the field. I'd imagine RFRO with the combined times, of course, having one of them being a 1 minute 50. I believe that is their competition going to be over and done with. Duncan Hoffman, though, he still has a chance for VSR, and he is improving on his previous best. I reckon he'll be able to disrupt that ET8 party. I don't believe he's going to be able to top his teammate at this point in time, but we'll have to wait and see as he heads now through the final corner. Can he make it a 1-2 for VSR? Indeed, he can, and that's another 1 minute 28.0 for the VSR team. Of course, it's the only two in the session with 6 minutes left to go. It's looking good for Visceral.
It absolutely is. Visceral and ETA looking like the top dogs in this lobby one so far, and maybe even looking likely by one of the favourites as we enter the real thing next week at Imola. SRT Lefted is also on a lap at the moment in the McLaren as he tries to improve on his second attempt. Got it wrong on his first one. 2/10 down, a little bit scruffy on his lap as he's coming towards the final corner right about now to start his second attempt. Looking likely he was on a lap, but never mind. Mikolaj Nowicki, I think, will be next unless he's on another out lap at the moment. Yes, he is. So he's about to prep another one for the Ferrari team. Probably 2 laps left for these guys so far, with about, as you said, Dan, about 5 minutes, 6 minutes left to go in the session. Tarabukin and Hoffman currently topping the timing sheets, but yeah, so far VSR and ETA looking like the better drivers so far, as Lefted making his way through Sector 1.
Absolutely, and he is up by just over a 1/10 of a second, almost a 1/10 and a half, so it's looking good for the SRT man at this point in time. Of course, it needs to be a team effort this evening, so both himself and Leroy Brown have got to improve on those times, because only 5 teams out of the 17 competing tonight, of course, only 5 of them are going to go through, as Lefted now heads through the short straight up towards Spoon Curve. A very crucial corner, very easy to run a little bit too wide and invalidate through there, and you can see he was right on the white line as he hit the widest point of that corner. But it's looking very nice indeed for Conor Muirs, and now he's about to hit that sector time line as it's up by almost 3/10 seconds. Very good for the McLaren man as he hits now the Casio triangle, heavy braking into here, keeping it in 3rd, then shifting very early in towards 4th, trying to maximize the grip on the exit, as now he's going to open up the DRS and come towards the line. He can't go ahead of Andre Tarabukin, up by 2 3/4 of a 10. He's looking very nice indeed. He splits the 2 VSR drivers. It's a 1 minute 28.05.
Absolutely brilliant once again from SRT. Lefted splits the VSR drivers so close indeed by about half a 10th of a second, 51 thousandths to be absolutely precise, as Shazoo Kevin is prepping his lap now for Mercedes. Elias Pizarros, I think, is going to be next towards the line. He's also prepping another one as well. What about Nelson Alves? Is he on something he's prepping as well? So we'll have a look what Juskill is doing. He's invalidated his run, so he's going to have to try for one more attempt. And currently sitting 11th on the grid, 3 seconds back on Mikolaj Norwicki. Just hasn't got it right today, it seems, have the Williams team. So we're going to have to try for something a little bit better. And in their final runs, as Nelson Alves completing his first couple of runs as well. Leroy Brown is in the pit lane. Lefted is coming in for his, for an in lap. So we'll have a look what Shazoo Kevin is doing for the Shazoo team, of course. 74 thousandths up in Sector 1, about 3/4 of a tenth. Not a lot, but could try and slot him up through into Elias Pizarros' place of P8. As he makes his way under the Rolex banner and into 130R once again as he heads into the first left-hander. A little bit of a kiss on the brake, riding that curve as much as you can. Absolutely on the limit are all these drivers taking Spoon Corner as you head up towards the hill for 130R. Fernando Alonso and Michael Schumacher having their big title deciders all the way through there. That incredible overtake they were treated to 2005 and 2006 as Shazoo Kevin braking hard into the Casio Triangle. A flick on the right, a flick on the left. Leroy Brown with a 5-place penalty. Not sure what for Shazoo Kevin. Across the line now into P6, 28.212. Not bad at all, and does beat his teammate of Nelson Alves, but only narrowly. Elias Pizarros goes up into P6 and beats Shazoo Kevin. What about Nelson Alves? He crosses the line right about now, currently 8 tenths down on his lap, and decides to abandon as SRT Lefted retires from the session. Doesn't think he can improve.
Absolutely. I think he's correct in thinking that. That is a very solid lap time that he has at the moment. It's going to take some beating for these other drivers at the moment, but a lot of them are not giving up. We're going to see 1 minute 27 by the end of this session. Surely the 2 most likely candidates to do it, maybe even the 4 most likely candidates, of course, Andrei Tarabukin, Duncan Hoffland, Yannick Schmidt and Leonard Goetze. All 4 of them, of course, currently on their outlaps with just over 1 minute left to go in this session. We're getting to the nitty-gritty of this part. It seems like at this point VSR and ET8 are going to be safe at the top of the order. Just a matter of who else is going to be able to challenge them as we head on towards his lap. Andrei Tarabukin is going to go through here and we'll see what he can do here.
Absolutely. Andrei Tarabukin, Yannick Schmidt, everyone on laps right about now. Shazoo Kevin is in the pit lane. Nelson Alves retires from the session. He doesn't think he can go any quicker, so we'll stick on board with Yannick Schmidt, the first man who's going to cross the line as he heads into Sector 1. What is his time through into Delta? Across the line he will come now. He's about 65 thousandths down in Sector 1. He's going to need something if he wants to try and play it alongside the VSR boys in 3rd and 1st at the moment as he heads into the hairpin, braking hard towards the left-hand side, missing that curve a little bit just to get the power down as early as possible. Kevin retires from the session. The 2 Shazoo drivers thinking they can do no more. Heading into Spoon Corner, Elias Pizarros also decides he can't go any better as we head on with Yannick Schmidt, the German, for ET8. A big moment out of the Spoon Corner. A little bit scruffy, but can he keep the momentum going as he heads up towards 130R under the Rolex barrier? What can he have in that Red Bull car as he heads into 130R now, fully flat out in these new corners, 5 tenths down at the moment, and I think that might not be enough for an improvement. Hop on the right, hop on towards the left as he comes towards the line now. He doesn't think it's good enough. The checkered flag is out. He crosses the line anyway and cannot improve on his time. What about his teammate of Leonard Goetze? He crosses the line 87 thousandths at the moment, goes into P4 with a 28.1 dead. Here comes one of the Alpha Aston Martin cars, and it's Andrei Tarabukin, and we break into the 27.854. A beautiful time there for Andrei Tarabukin. Leroy Brown sticks it into P6 as here comes Duncan Hoffland, a 10th and a half up so far, looking good for that 2nd place for VSR as he crosses the line now. The development driver for Aston Martin Esports across the line. It's a 28.0. Not sure where that puts him as he comes towards the line. It's a 1-2 for VSR. A beautiful time, and that should be enough for qualification.
Great effort from the VSR boys to go 1 and 2 in this session. Andrei Tarabukin clear of the rest. A 1 minute 27.854. Very impressive time from him there, accompanied by his teammate in P2. Conor Muir's time wasn't able to be beaten. He sits in third, and the two ET8 boys of Leonard Goetze and Yannick Schmidt sit in fourth and fifth. Leroy Brown was sixth fastest. And then it is QRT Shazoo as the two RFRO drivers, unfortunately sitting in 11th and 12th, and it's looking like, Josh, their days are done.
Yeah, definitely so. 29.4 and a 50.1 isn't looking good at all, but VSR will be absolutely on top of the world with that 1-2, and they'll be absolutely licking their lips for the rest of the lobbies. We head into lobby 2 and lobby 3. We'll be back in a couple of moments for the quick message from our sponsor. Welcome back to the E-Series qualifiers. We've just come out of Lobby 1 and VSR looking top dogs so far in an absolutely fantastic battle we have just seen in qualifying. Dan Field is alongside me once again. Dan, that was a pretty decent start to the qualifiers.
Absolutely, it was very intense throughout the entirety of it, but VSR were the ones to overcome. Of course, they are topping the way at the moment. They're the quickest team so far with 175 seconds, 0.893. So they are the fastest team at this point in time. It's ET8 second, Shazoo in third. Oh no, it's QRT in third, sorry. Then Shazoo in fourth. Fifth is SRT. I'm not too sure. I think it's all being updated at this moment in time. But the quickest team, as it stands, VSR.
Absolutely, we'll get you updated with all the teams once we get into Lobby 2. Just waiting for everyone to jump in. If you are just joining us, just a refresh of Lobby 2. We do not have TF1 anymore. They have pulled out of the tournament. So we do have NLR Esports, FRT, Trust Esports, WR, and TF10. I'll let you know with the runners and riders of NLR. If we have a look towards us right about now, if I can find them on my notes right about now. There we go. NLR Esports in the Alfa Romeo tonight with Group B. Obviously joined by Leo Lunds, F5 driver. Very quick driver on his day, alongside Julio Figueroa alongside him. With FRT, of course, they are joined by Jay Kennedy and Congalo Barros in the Ferrari team. As we head on over to Trust Esports as well. TRS, of course, in the Williams tonight with TRS Seb and TRS Zyro alongside them. With WR Esports in the Mercedes tonight with Justin Lat Racer and Dimitri Minik. And then we have TF10, of course, one of the big boys to try and qualify for this tournament as well. One of the best in the business, as we have them in the McLaren tonight with Max Whistle and Dylan Warren. And already that TF10 team looking pretty scary, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Max Fiesel and Dylan Warren, both of them coming from the PlayStation platform, and they're both on the PC now. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they can do tonight. I believe we've got all the drivers in the lobby at the moment, so we should be going very quickly. And I'm just looking on our spreadsheet here, Josh. I see that SRT have been able to out-qualify ET8 with the effort from Conor Muir by 4 thousandths of a second, and imagine that is going to be if that's the difference between making it into the E-Series and being eliminated. I mean, it is incredible work from Conor Muir there to really elevate his team.
Absolutely incredible times all the way through, and that is just how much esports can do to you. 1,000th, even less than a 1,000th of a second, 2,000th, whatever it may be, could be the difference between qualifying and getting knocked out. So we're going to have to hope for the rest of these lobbies that everything will run smoothly towards them. So we are, I think, about to get ready for lobby 2 as we'll head into the gameplay section in about 20 seconds time. We'll head on over right about now, and we are looking into the group stages. There we go then. Air all the drivers on your screen for you. We get ready to go for lobby 2. Quick predictions then, Dan. Who do you think will probably be the standouts for this one?
Well, I think topping the session, and I'm going to say a 1-2 for them. I think it's got to be TF10. I mean, the pair of them, Max Fiesel and Dylan Warren, they are proven league racers. They've been a part of the scene for many, many years at this point. I remember Dylan Warren back on like F1 2019. I was commentating him on an AOR F3. So, and he's still just been improving throughout all these years. Max Fiesel, of course, coming out more recently. You've got to put his name in the ring to go number one. But of course, it's not going to be easy for them. You've got plenty of talented teams like FRT, WOR, NLR, and Trust Esports. I'd imagine all of them are going to try and give them a run for their money.
Absolutely. So Dylan Warren, one of the biggest talents in F1 esports, of course, on the league racing side of things. F2 in PSGL, of course. So he knows his thing or two about the F1 esports side of things as we get ready to go for Lobby 2 here in the PSGL E-Series qualifiers. And I will, as I've promised, let you all updated with all the times from Lobby 1 as we get into the spreadsheet now. Phil, I would like to load. There we go. So we have currently on top, as Dan said, we have VSR, Viscero Esports with a 175.893. Second place goes to SRT with a 176.218. And as you said, Dan, get this, 88 Esports a 176, sorry, 0.222. So about 3/4 thousandths between the two of them. QRT currently sit P4 with a 176.473. P5 are Team Shazoo with a 176.580. And then obviously P6 are Racing RFO with a 199.457. So currently it is VSR, SRT, ET8, QRT, and Shazoo all making it through. But we are ready to go for Lobby 2 right about now, Dan.
Yep, so the current cut time to beat is 176.580 seconds. That is the cut time for making it into the E-Series. We've got some drivers out on outlaps at the moment, the first of which being Leo Lund for NLR Esports. I believe that stands for Never Last Racing, so they're going to be hoping to be right at the top of the order this evening, trying to get themselves into this E-Series, and very exciting to see this one. It seemed like ever so slightly different conditions. It seems like we're in more of an evening setting to what we had in the first session, so I wonder if that's going to impact maybe track temperature or something. And I've just seen Dylan Warren has retired, and then Max Wiesel has Dylan's left the session and Max Wiesel's retired, so I wonder, I got a ping on Discord, I wonder if there's going to be a lobby restart here.
I think we might have. We'll just quickly check on everything, if everything is okay in here. We have a look towards Group B. We'll have a look. I think we have a restart. Yes, we do. We do have a restart going on for the wrong time. So just bear with us, everyone, and we will get ready to go in a couple of moments' time as we will have a little bit of a moment with a word from our sponsor. Welcome back, everyone, to PSGL. Apologies for the slight delay as we get back up for lobby number 2 in this E-Series event. We'll let you know with how everything is going. But we are back alongside Dan Field once again. And Dan, after a little bit of an incident there with the lobby, do you think that will maybe play on the minds of a few of these drivers, maybe get them a little bit off-focused going into this lobby?
Not too sure, if I'm being honest, Josh. I mean, the timing was wrong, and it was actually quite funny. You know, as soon as I picked up on it, then I get the ping in my ear. So yeah, it was pretty coincidental there. But I don't imagine the drivers will be too affected by this. I mean, maybe it's going to put them slightly, as you say, off focus. You know, at this point they should be in the qualifying session, but of course maybe they've given themselves more time to get psyched up. That could be playing on their minds. However, we are finally getting back in to the lobby for lobby B for this for the E-Series. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Absolutely. So we are back in for the second part of the qualifiers, lobby number 2. We'll just give you a quick rundown of who is in this lobby. We have NLR Esports, FRT, Trust Esports, WR Esports, and TF10 Esports. TF1 are not racing with us tonight. They have pulled out from the tournament, but we are ready to go for the second time in this qualifying event, and it should be absolutely fantastic. Once again, it is Max Whistle and Leo Lund, the first drivers out in qualifying, and we should have an absolutely fantastic qualifying session to go on to. But yeah, as you said, Dan, this is hopefully shouldn't play on the minds of anyone so far. But there's got to be a few favourites out there. Probably Max Whistle and Dylan Warner, as we were just speaking about earlier, are the ones for go this. But WR, obviously a well-known team as well, can definitely put themselves up there with Elliott and Justin, that racer tonight. Hopefully they can try and ruffle some feathers. But do you see them trying to get up there with the likes of TF10 as well?
Sorry, I zoned out for a moment there. I mean, I think everyone has got an equal chance in this qualifying session. Of course, TF10 are going to be the favourites, but I do think that the likes of NLR, FRT, and WR, they're definitely going to be given a run for TF10's money. As Leo Lund, he's now completing his outlap. It's pretty much the same as what we saw in the previous session, where Leo Lund came out first and Max Wiesel was second. Around about this time, they were all leaving the lobby. So good that we've got past the 16 minutes to go mark, and we will have a fantastic session underway as Leo Lund now headed through the final corner in his Alfa Romeo, donning the number 7, similar to Kimi Räikkönen. He's getting his lap started.
Absolutely. We'll take a lap on board with Leo London as he heads in towards turn number 1. A kink on the right and another kink on the right for turn number 2. Flying into the S then, into left, into another right, flick towards the left and another flick towards the right. Feel like they're going on forever and ever and ever as they head in towards the Sector 1 Delta, flying on towards that curve, riding as much as you can, using all the track possible is Leo Lund, the youngster for NLR tonight. Into Degner 1 and into Degner 2. Lovely and quick, a big snap out of the exit. That's going to cost him a lot of time, but very, very well done to keep the car in a straight line as he heads towards Spoon Corner for the first time in his lap. Hold on towards the Rolex banner, heading towards the right hand side line, flick on towards the left for the first turn, into the second of Spoon and out of the exit, keeping the power down as early as possible, wrestling with that Alfa Romeo car as much as you can, and into 130R comes Leo Lund, fully flat out of course in these new F1 2022 corner cars. A 112, I think 112.2, I think that was into Sector 2. Couldn't quite catch it as you head into the Casio Triangle. Once again, out of the final corner comes Leo Lund and across the line for the Alfa Romeo driver, a 128.756 to get things started. Max Whistle will cross the line to do a 128.170, about 0.6 quicker than Leo Lund as Dylan Warren puts in a 28.275 as well. The Mercedes will come up towards the line line now. Just in that racer goes to a 29.231. Elliott goes to a 28.860. The two Ferrari drivers, one actually Jay Kennedy invalidated. Goncalo Barros with a 30.097. Seb with a 28.981. And Tira Strux with a 29.096 as Jay Kennedy and NLR Rookie invalidate their times. And so far, TF10 looking the better drivers.
Yeah, and this is what we sort of expected from the very beginning. The closest time to them is Leo Lund's 1 minute 28.501. No, he looked quite scrappy on that lap. Maybe his pedals, the rubber on his pedals is worn out. He needs some new ones on his V1s. Yeah, Rookie goes into P3 ahead of his NLR teammate. Still not looking like the most competitive times so far. It seems like only TF10 they've got it down at the moment. Currently on a 1 minute 28.170. I mean, that is sort of unprecedented for this time, you know, in the session. Of course, we were only seeing his 1 minute 28 about halfway through in session 1. So Max Wiesel already, he seems to have himself geared in. Dylan Warren not too far behind. So really well done for the two Tier 10 boys.
Absolutely. So already pulling out of the blocks flying, Max Wiesel and Dylan Warren getting the job done for TF10, a 28.170 for Max Wiesel and a 128.275 for Dylan Warren. Goncalo Barras in P10 at the moment as his teammate FRTJ Kennedy puts it into a P8 lap time of a 29.193. FRT really on the back foot here, but TF10 and NLR, looking the better teams with WR. No, actually, TRS, I think, will be sitting P3 with WR P4 and FRT P5 at the moment. So looking likely that TF10 and LR might be the ones seeing us through. But already from Lobby 1 and Lobby 2, as you said, Dan, we're looking at very much quicker times than we were earlier on. There's 12 minutes left to go in the session. And already, I think I see one of the Alfa Romeos. That's an Alfa Romeo coming back in. But already we're looking at some pretty tasty times. We could see even maybe the mid to low 27s as we head into the last couple of moments of qualifying.
So with just over 10 minutes left to go. Well, it's 11 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this qualifying session. I see Max Wiesel already coming back out onto the circuit, and I wonder how he is actually going to be able to compare with his previous best time. The only other driver on circuit at the moment is Jay Kennedy. He's not on a push lap at the moment, so he'll be coming in to the pit lane at the end of this one. See one of the Alfa Romeos, that's Leo Lund, coming in to out of the pit lane, at this point in time. So it seems like, Josh, we're about to get our second wave of lap times coming through, and it is going to be Max Wiesel this time leading the charge.
Yeah, Max Wiesel will be the first one to set a lap time in our second round of laps. 11 minutes left to go in the session, so plenty of time for probably 2 more laps to get things underway. Max Wiesel for TF10 will kick things off alongside Leo Lund once again for the Alfa Romeo team of NLR, followed by him, Goncalo Barros in the FRT machine of the Ferrari, currently sitting P10. A lot of drivers, a lot of people in the chat looking likely that their rubbers are pretty one on their Fanatec wheels, so hopefully we can sort them out as quickly as possible for their sakes. But we'll focus more on towards the matters at hand at Japan. Max Wiesel will be the first one to come across the line as he heads into 130R. McLaren currently on top of the world so far with a 128.170, about a tenth quicker than his teammate of Dylan Warren. He heads into the Casio Triangle right about now. And Dan, let's take us for a lap around the Suzuka circuit.
Here he is now, headed out of the final corner and opening up the DRS to begin his lap of Suzuka. Max Wiesel getting this one underway as he goes beneath the Honda Gentrin in towards turn number 1, pressing the apex on the inside before braking the turn number 2 using the extremities of the circuit before he reaches the S's section. Very tricky, this part of the track. If he gets on the curves a little bit too much, he's sent into a spin, but Max Wiesel is facing no such problems. He heads now towards the Dunlop curve, easy to run, a little bit too wide through here, but Max Wiesel is taking this very nicely so far. Previous best is being improved on by almost half a tenth of a second, so Max Wiesel already to keep this improvement up. We could see already with 9 minutes to go a 1 minute 27, which we didn't see right until the end of the session in the first lobby. So possibly tier 10 could be the new top dogs as now in the second sector is Max Diesel approaching the spoon curve once again. We're utilising all of the track as he uses the very outer curve length before cutting back in towards the inside. This is Apex ever so slightly in the second part of that left hander, but on the run up towards 130, he's about to cross in towards sector 3. He's up by 1/10 and a half, so it's looking very nice for Max Diesel. Now he's almost into the 1 minute 27s at this point, towards now the Casio triangle where he's got to get on the power for one last time, and he's going to have to keep it very nice and tight towards the inside to get the best run towards the line. There it is, a 1 minute 27.975 for Max Diesel.
Absolutely, almost an exactly 2/10 of a lap improvement for Max Vissel. And we're already on the second laps, running in the 27s. Leo Lund will cross the line now. He's 2.5 tenths up, can still go into P4 though. The Ferrari of Goncalo Barros will cross the line now. No, sorry, that's Jay Kennedy who's just crossed the line. He goes to a 29.195. We'll flick on over back to Goncalo Barros, who's about just under a second in front of an improvement. He goes up to P8 with a 29.189. So close between the FRT boys. There's one of the Mercedes now crossing the line. I think that was just in that racer who might have invalidated or just starting his second flying lap of this session. Tierra Seb, who's currently in P6, is about to start his lap also in the Williams. So we'll flick on over to NLR rookie, 28 thousandths down in sector 2. Has he found anything in this sector? Sorry, he's found about 300ths of a second right now, which will still be enough for P3, but only by about 2/10 of a second to Dylan Warren as he flies towards sector 3. Can he find any little bit of time to extract out of that Alfa Romeo car? Across the line, stays P3, but only actually lost a little bit of time in sector 3. Only improves by about 100ths of a second. So he's going to need something desperate here. Well, I say he needs something desperate. If he wants to try and get into that front row and ruffle some feathers with TF10, with Max Vissel and Dylan Warren, then he might as well try and put the power down. But so far, NLR are looking very, very decent as well. 3/10 clear of P5.
Absolutely, and it is looking good for them at this moment in time. However, of course, in the grand scheme of things, I don't believe these times are really all that competitive to compare to the likes of VSR, SRT, and ET8. Arguably the quickest three teams. Well, they are the quickest three teams in the first session. I believe only TF10 at this point in time are really going to have a shot for making it into the E series, unless one of these drivers further back behind really gets they pull the figure out, they really get their laps underway. As Justin, that racer, he's gone into the 1 minute 29.6 161, so that's not really all that competitive from him. TRS Seb goes into P5, he's able to jump ahead of Elliott with a 1 minute 28.795, and then I believe up next it is going to be Drax to the line, but he wasn't on a very competitive time, so I believe he's actually just getting his one underway. Elliott will be the next one to cross the line, and he currently is up by 3/10 of a second on his previous best, purple, in sector 2. So this is looking good for the WOR representative in the Mercedes as he opens up the DRS and heads towards the line. He's able to split the two NLR boys. It's 1 minute 28.514, but it's still not enough to beat from tier 10.
A big lap there from Elliott there to just try and split the NLR drivers, get them closer to qualification. His teammate Justin, that racer, currently sits 9th at the moment, but Elliott really doing the business so far in this second stage of qualifying. Probably maybe 3 more laps, I say 3 laps, but maybe 1-2 laps still left to go in this qualifying session. If Max Wilson and Dylan Warren decide to go out for one more, maybe just try and secure that qualifying position, but we will have to see what happens. Drux, I think, is on a lap at the moment as he heads up towards 130R. His teammate just about to slow down a little bit just to get out of his way as he enter into 130R. He's about 2 seconds down on his lap so far, so he's made a mistake somewhere. Second round of qualifying done so far, I believe, as Drux comes into the pits now, cannot improve. Currently P8 with TRS Seb in P6 as well. The two teammates 6th and 8th so far, but right now it's on top of the world for TF10 and NLR still. There's front row locked for TF10 and 3rd and 5th secured so far for NLR.
It looked inevitable really early on that TF10 were going to be the most dominant team at this point in time. And as I'm just thinking about it, I do believe that this is going to put them quickest in the qualifiers so far. Of course, the time to beat is 175.893 seconds. Of course, that's currently being held up by VSR. Still, Max Wiesel is not quick enough to go ahead of Andrei Tarabukin, and Dylan Warren isn't quicker than Duncan Hoffland. However, with 3 minutes left to go in their session, the two tier 10 boys, they might want to just secure themselves in the very top of the order, and I think they will be out on circuit very, very soon. But with just over 3.5 minutes left to go, no one is out on track at the moment. It's looking like a ghost town as it stands at the moment. There's 176 viewers watching at the moment. Let us know in the live chat who you are supporting this evening. So I'm seeing Justin That Racer in the Mercedes exiting the garage now.
Justin That Racer will be the first one to venture out for the final laps in Lobby 2, the calm before the storm, as I like to call it, as a lot of commentators do call it there. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for choosing PSGL for your Friday night entertainment. Hopefully you are having a good time and seeing some fantastic laps being set around Japan. It is currently Max Wiesel and Dylan Warren top of the timing sheets in Lobby 2 by only about a tenth of a second separating between each other as we have a look at the gap right about now. Yep, a tenth between Max Wiesel and Dylan Warren, then 5 tenths between Rookie and Max Wiesel, and it's very, very close between third, fourth, and fifth. Elliott in P4, Leo Lund in P5, then 3 tenths separating them between Seb and also Jay Kennedy, with Drux in 8th, Justin That Racer, who's out right about now in P9, and Goncalo Barros at the back so far in P10, with that lap time about 1.2 seconds down on Max Wiesel so far, as we try to get back to the fastest lap. There we go, about a 129.189 for Goncalo Barros, but we get back racing once again. It is Justin That Racer who will join us for the first round, well, the final round of qualifying here in lobby number 2. Alongside him, just behind him, one of the NLR drivers of either Leo Lund or Rookie. We'll have a look to see who it is. It is Leo. It is a Rookie just behind him, but we'll flick on over to Justin That Racer for a lap around the Japanese circuit as he comes towards the final corner and across the line into turn 1. He will come then under the Honda barrier for a lap around the Suzuka circuit, carrying all the speed you can into turn number 1. A flick of the wrist into the right-handers, keeping tight towards the curb on the right and letting it flow out of the exit on to turn number 2 and turn number 3. The fast left will come towards you like a book as you come in towards the left, in towards the right, another left and another right, keeping it tight towards the line, a little bit too wide for Justin That Racer. I think he will probably agree with that as he head up towards the hill for the Sector 1 Delta and into Degner 1 and Degner 2. Degner 1 will come at you first, 22 thousandths down so far for Justin That Racer. Into Degner 2, nice and tidy, up towards the curb, nice and easy for him as you head into the hairpin once again. Third gear up into 4 for the traction, staying tight towards the white line on the exit and carry the speed all the way through into Spoon Corner, keeping it tight towards the white line once again, up towards the right hand side and into the left hander of Spoon number 1 and into Spoon number 2, riding that curb all the way through like a skateboard, and also on the exit a little bit of a wobble out of the exit, but keeps that momentum going. Into 130R you will go under the Rolex barrier, keeping that time as best as you can, trying to get as much slip as you can from the Ferrari in front as you head into 130R, fully flat out and into the Casio triangle, braking at around the 100-meter board, flick on towards the right, a little bit of a moment as the rears start to snap on you ever so slightly. That is going to cost Justin That Racer a little bit, another wobble out of the final corner as you cross the line, and he's a 10th down on his lap, and that will not be enough to get him anywhere as the checkered flag falls about now.
Absolutely, so we'll see who's up next towards the line. It's going to be NLR Rookie, currently off on his previous best time by 8 hundredths of a second, but now he's in towards sector 3. It's not looking too quick at all. I think Rookie has made a mistake somewhere along the road, so he's not going to be improving on his time. That leaves us up next with Dylan Warren, currently on a 1 minute 28.083 for Team TF10 is now he's headed in towards the final sector, approaching 130R, up by just over 1/10 of a second on his previous best. And finally, we are going to see 2 1 minute 27s from the same team as now in towards the final corners at the Casio Triangle. Rookie retires in the pit lane. Here comes Dylan Warren now, getting power down and opening up the DRS to cross the line, and he is going to go ahead of his teammate with a 1 minute 27.952. Max Wiesel currently up on his previous best though by 500ths of a second, so is he going to dethrone his teammate? Is now headed towards the line. He comes, and indeed he will. A 1 minute 27.919. They seem to be the most put together team at this point in time. Does TF10. Drax goes into P6, and Leo Lund puts himself in third ahead of his teammate with 1 minute 28.378. Jay Kennedy cannot improve on his position. He will stay in at P8 as TRS Seb goes ahead of his teammate and to go into P6. Just in that race, not on a lap time, Gonzalo Barros comes into the pit lane. That is going to bring us to the end of our Lobby B qualifying.
Brilliant to see, and here's TF who slots it into another 1-2. Max Wiesel tops the timing sheets with a 27.919 with Dylan Warren in P2 and 27.952 for him. Leo Lund with a 28.378 with Rookie on a 28.491. They lock out the second row for NLR. Brilliant results for them. Elliot in fifth with a 28.514. Seb in sixth alongside his teammate Drax in seventh, as we get towards the results all the way for you as Max Wiesel there topping the timing sheets. Absolutely fantastic performance from TF10 and himself. As there we go then into the Lobby 2 results. It is Max Wiesel who gets the job done for TF10 alongside Dylan Warren, 33 thousandths separating the rest of them, and then about 4.5 tenths between himself and Leo London P3. NLR Rookie sits P4, Elliot is 5th, Seb is 6th with Drax in 7th, Jay Kennedy for FRT is 8th, Justin That Racer is P9 for WR, and Goncalo Barras is P10 for FRT once again as we get into Lobby 3 in a couple of moments' time for a quick word with our sponsor. Welcome back to the PSGL E-Series qualifiers. We've just had Lobby number 2, and it is TF10 who topped the timing sheets there with Max Wiesel and Dylan Warren getting the job done there. We're going into Lobby 3 right about now. Joshua Davis alongside me once again is Dan Field. Dan, a brilliant Lobby 2 once again with TF10 topping the timing sheets as now we start to head towards the decider to see who goes in to the real deal.
Absolutely, and I do believe that it is going to be, I think this is the most competitive session, of course. Parnell, Talent Factory, Paradox, Sim Racing, FER, and Vroom. I recognise pretty much all of these names. They are very, all of them, very talented racers. So I think this is probably going to be one of the closest sessions we have this evening.
Absolutely. So we'll get you updated with all the Lobby results so far as we just get it all underway for you. I will read them out for you right about now. If they are updated, I think not just yet. I don't think so. We'll wait and see what happens. We'll just be a couple of minutes, but we'll load you in with the Lobby 3 teams for you tonight. It is 5 drivers within Parnell Racing comes in with PSR, Talent Factory Esports, Vroom, and obviously Parnell Racing held with Liam Parnell's esports team, of course, the Red Bull esports driver, of course, for the F1 Esports Series. PSR, famous on the Xbox platform, and obviously making their debut in PC as well last season. Of course, a brilliant team to their display. Talent Factory Esports, again, a PlayStation team coming into PC with a lot of talent on their sides, joined tonight, obviously, by Jean Pedri, Orgiano, and Taisho Hardy. I believe PSGL F1 drivers for PlayStation and F2 drivers on PC as well. Vroom, another French team, join us tonight. A brilliant bunch of drivers they have at their disposal there. Lenny Pepinta and Jeremy Gallonier will join them tonight. And then obviously FVR, Spanish team, once again, brilliant team once again, of course, as they are. And they are lined up with, if I can find them on my notes right about now, FVR are joined by Lucas Uchi and Nadi Perez. And that should be a brilliant siding for them as we just wait for the last couple of drivers to come in. But already just starting from there, Dan, who do you think probably has the upper edge? Because this is just probably the best lobby we've had so far.
Oh, I'm not too sure. If I'm being honest with you, I think it's going to be one of the closer sessions that we have. However, I believe that it is going to be Parnell with the edge this evening. Of course, Isvan Pookie and Boualem Ferrer, the pair of them, both racing in the upper echelons of league racing at this point in time. They are going to be in very strong stead, and I would put their name in the hat to possibly be one of the fastest teams towards the end of these sessions. As well, I'm just really looking forward to getting underway.
Absolutely. So just wait for those two extra drivers to come back in as the updates has come in with our results. I'll just read them out for you now. It is Viscero Esports still topping the timing sheets with a 175.893. SRT Esports still sit P2 with a 176.218. ETA Esports P3 with a 176.222. QRT P4 with a 176.473. And the final spot so far is Team Shazoo with a 176.58. The teams currently knocked out with a big shock are Racing FR Online, TF10 Esports, FRT, and WOR. To my recollection, I think if I am correct so far, but already Lobby 1 was so quick. Lobby 2 just maybe couldn't quite keep up.
Yeah, sorry. I believe that Connor's actually eating for at this point in time. So the spreadsheet's not getting updated in time. But if you look on the right hand side, currently the fastest team is actually TF10 ahead of VSR by just about, I think it's 22 thousandths of a second. However, they are pretty much clear of Lobby 1. It's pretty much clear of most teams in Lobby B. And I'm just trying my hardest to get the last of the results in here. However, TF10 currently number 1, then of course VSR P2. I believe that it is I'm not too sure at this point in time. I think it is SRT actually in 3rd place at the moment, then ET8, then QRT, and then Team Shazoo currently been knocked out.
Yeah, apologies for that. We'll try and get ready, but I will read them out once we get closer in towards the lobby. Still waiting for those two drivers. Not sure where they are so far, but hopefully they join us soon. But obviously talking about the tournament itself, a £1,000 prize pool we have to offer. We've just had our pro drivers, obviously, our pro team, just been announced earlier on before the stream. It will be Veloce Elite, RHG, of course, the Haas F1 Esports team as well, alongside Williams Esports, and also Race Clutch, probably if not the best teams on the F1 esports series, and maybe even in sim racing, to be honest. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of these community drivers and community teams to get up towards the level of these pro teams and just go on towards it even more. It is a really great tournament, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy to be a part of this tournament. It really will elevate these community teams and give them a chance to race against some of the best drivers in league racing at the moment, a part of some of the best teams. And I'd imagine that teams competing like Veloce, like Race Clutch, like Haas, all of them, they'll be scouting to see who possibly could be the up-and-coming stars.
Absolutely. So I think we're about to get ready in a couple of moments. So I'm just waiting for everyone to get ready up in the lobby, and we will get underway in a few moments time. Just checking in the chat, who do you think will be the top drivers in this lobby 3? Let us know in the chat below. Hello everyone once again for your contribution tonight. Thank you all for tuning in once again. It should be absolutely fantastic as we head into the final lobby of the evening. We'll just remind you of who's driving in this lobby. It is Parnell Racing for their outfit in the Red Bull team tonight. PSR alongside them in the Mercedes, with Talent Factory Esports in for McLaren. Vroom will be driving in the Williams, and FVR will be in the Aston Martin outfit as we get ready to go for the gameplay, for the gameplay scene, and we will get ready to go into lobby number 3 for the final time this evening, and we will decide who goes in to the PSGL E-Series. Dan, hopefully, if you are there or not, hopefully we are all ready to go as we get ready to go into qualifying. There we go. Sorry if I sort of started you there, but yeah, we are now all ready to go. Hopefully, no issues whatsoever. And look at that beautiful clean sky. So no need for a lobby restart, but we get ready. 10 drivers on the grid, and we'll get ready to go for lobby number 3 then, Dan.
Yeah, apologies. I thought we were doing an ad break there, but yeah, lobby number 3 underway. This is going to be the deciding lobby to see who are the top 5 teams advancing in towards the PSGL E-Series. And already the drivers coming out on to circuit, I believe. The first drivers were the Red Bull PR, of course, Parnell Racing with those Red Bull links. They were the first ones to leave the pit lane, but it will be the Williams drivers of Vroom Esports. So that is going to be Jeremy coming out first for them. Then it is going to be one of the Aston Martin drivers. That'll be F1 Ferrari 516. And I remember that name from, I think, season 27, PlayStation F1. If I'm not mistaken, it might have even been season 26. But that is a name that I've not seen in quite some time. He's been overtaken by Boualem Ferrer, and Ifan Pookie is just behind them. So already everyone coming out on to this circuit, and I think this is definitely going to be one of the closest lobbies we see tonight.
Absolutely. So as we get ready to go for the first time in lobby 3, we'll have a look to see who is fronting the field so far. It is Jeremy Glenier for the Vroom team, the French team, of course, and they will be making their mark first in this lobby alongside one of the Red Bulls of, I think that's Boualem Ferrer just in front, just behind him. Yes, it is. Just behind him alongside his teammate, obviously Jeremy Glenier's teammates of Lenny Pepinta behind him, and then Isfan Pookie behind him as well, followed by the Aston Martin, a McLaren, Mercedes, and Aston Martin as well. As Jeremy Glenier comes through at 130R, and Dan, let's take a lap with Jeremy Glenier around the Suzuka circuit.
Here he is now headed out of the Casio Triangle, giving a nice little bump to the bollards. That seems like everyone decides that they are not worth standing up on that inside curve. As here he goes now, beginning his run, reaching speeds of excess of 200 miles per hour in towards the first corner. It's going to be a flick of the wrist rightwards, and then in towards the first braking zone on this circuit at turn number 2. Now it is for the exit section for Jeremy Glenier from Vroom Esports. Where can he place that Williams? We'll have to wait and see as now he heads through the first sector in towards Dunlop Curve. His teammate Lenny Pepinta has left the session. I hope that's not issues with the Frenchman's car or with his PC. It's going to be a 32.214 for Jeremy Glenier as he heads through the first sector split in towards now the hairpin heavy braking zone through here down towards third gear. He's going to short shift up into fourth to maximise the traction on the exit, and now will be rising through the gears with the foot flat to the floor as he heads towards the spoon curve now, where of course it is on pretty much using the extremities of the circuit throughout in towards now the second part of the left-hander, not using all the curb on the inside. It's very easy to spin out through here, and unfortunately for Jeremy Glenier, he's invalidated this lap.
Yeah, unfortunate to see from Jeremy there, but we'll flick on over quickly to Boualem Ferrer in the Parnell Racing team for Red Bull, and he's purple in Sector 2, 11.733 for him as he comes into the Casio Triangle, braking hard on the 100-meter board, a flick on the right and a flick towards the left, using all the track possible and a little bit more as he comes towards the line now. What's his banker time going to be in the Red Bulls? He crosses the line at 28.225. Very, very, very competitive as well as Isfan Pookie dives into pit lane thinking it's not good enough for him. F1 Ferrari puts it into P2 with a 28.416. FVR pulling it out the bag so far. Primoz Mikhlovic now puts it into P2 with a 28.414. Ogiano into the top spot at 28.207 as Taisho Hardy puts it into a 28.451. Struggling so far. Andrew Karapi into P6 with a 28.740 as the other Aston Martin of Nadi Perez puts it into P7 with a 29.106 as the first couple of rounds are done, but already the Talent Factory teams of Gianpedri Ogiano really setting the pace already.
Absolutely, a 1 minute 28.207, a nice enough time for the TF driver this evening. So far we only have 3 drivers without a lap time on the board. That's the 2 Vroom drivers and then one of the Parnell boys, Isfan Pookie. His teammate currently setting him a 1 minute 28.225. I'd imagine this is going to be a session where it will be the 2 McLarens and the 2 Red Bulls, of course, TF and PR. Those will be the ones that will be fighting the hardest in this session.
Yeah, absolutely. Istvan Pukki deciding to abort his lap there. I don't think it was invalid from my recollection, but it might have been. We'll never know at that moment in time. But he's decided to go out once again as he comes out right about now. We'll see who is next across the line. I think it might be himself coming out. So is Jeremy Glinier just in front, and Lenny Pepinto, who's now back in towards the lobby, which is always great to see. The VRM boys yet to make their mark in this qualifying session, but they will definitely be quick out the blocks. The quickest lobby we'll have so far. Saved the best for last, as we like to say, but so far Gianpietro Oggiano is setting the times there with a 28.207, beating Buenaferra to a 28.225. So close in that time exactly. We'll have a look how much. It's about 17 thousandths of a second, but we're right on board with Lenny Pepinto for his attempts around the Suzuka circuits. But what we'll see is something probably pretty extraordinary from the man at Williams as he comes towards the final corner. Comes Lenny Pepinto around Suzuka at Japan. DRS wide open, and away we go for the first lap with Lenny Pepinto, sorry, into turn 1 then. Nicely taken towards turn 1. A little bit of a break into turn 2, hiding on towards the curves as much as you can, using as much as you can on the exit. Flick on the left, a flick on towards the right. The curves are a little bit your best friend here if you keep them absolutely perfectly as you head into the hill for turn number left, if you like, turn number 7, turn number 8, one of the two. As you head up towards the sectors 1 delta time across the line, he will go to a 32.127. Currently purple on the board into Degner 2. A big snap. Well, I say a big snap, a little bit of a drift out of the exit of Degner 1, but nice and tidy so far. In towards up the hill and into Spoon Corner. Lenny Pepinto absolutely on rails so far as you head towards the white line, towards the right-hand side to get the better exit into Spoon Corner as you fly into the first left and into the second one, on towards the curb, using as much track as you possibly can, every pixel of that racetrack. And once again, out of the exit for the seconds as you head up the hill, under the Rolex barrier and into 130R once again as you head towards the flat out section of 130R, flying towards the left-hander, and only the Casio triangle greets you once again, braking hard towards the right and in towards the left. A flick on the right and a flick on the left. The number 58 Williams car for Vroom is about to cross the line now. Can he beat Gianpietro Oggiano off the board? Not quite. He goes into P6 with a 28.479. Not bad at all. His teammate Jeremy Gladier, what can he do in the other Williams cars? He crosses the line now. P7 with 28.514. Istvan Pukki is also on a lap for Red Bull. Can he put it up there, up towards the times? He can put it on the front row by 2 thousandths of a second to Gianpietro Oggiano. What a lap. A 28.205 is your new time to beat.
Very nice indeed from Istvan Pukki. Just eyeballing it at the moment, it seems like the top team is Parnell. Then it'll be Talent Factory in P2. Seems like PSR is in at third as we speak, and I believe that it'll be Vroom and then FVR currently at the bottom. However, there's still plenty of laps left to come in this session as Gianpietro Oggiano, he's getting himself underway. It's hard with this little glitch to actually find out who is on an out lap and who is pushing at the moment, but I do believe that the furthest man up on a lap at this point in time will be Buenaferra in the Red Bull car, of course, just behind the teammate on circuit at the moment, currently on a 1 minute 28.225. He's improving by half a tenth of a second, so this could make it a 1-2 for Parnell Racing as now he heads in towards Spoon Curve, braking after the 50-meter board. Very late braking through here and then utilising all the track possible. Outside curbs at this corner, however, Buenaferra facing no such issues as now he heads towards the second sector split. He's up by almost 0.2 of a second, looking very nice for Buenaferra now in towards the Casio triangle, hitting his apex on the inside, then switching it over towards the left. Little bit of a snap off the exit of the corner, and he's going to back off on this one, head back into the pit lane. He's lost all his time in that third sector.
Yeah, seemed to be quite a big of a snap there for Buenaferra, and thinking it will not be enough. Probably the wisest decision, hopefully, will try and go again. F1 Ferrari is next across the line. He's about 3/4 of a tenth up, puts it into P4, beating Primoz Roglic there to a 28.308. Not a bad lap time at all. And the Mercedes is about to cross the line now. That's Andrew Karapi. No, it's not. It's Primoz Roglic who dives into the pit lane as Gianpetro Oggiano immediately responds to the par now, boys, and puts it into a 28.114 for the Talent Factory Esports machines. What a lap that was. The 28.114 is the new time to beat. Andrew Karapi is next on the timing sheets, but I think he's about a second and a bit down. He decides to come into the pit lane. Doesn't think he will go any quicker. But Taisho Hardy in the other TF team, a little bit of a moment out of the final couple of corners, and does the same as Boilen Ferrer decides to come into the pit lane. And already the first couple of guys not really happy with their second run so far.
Yeah, of course, the Casio Triangle, arguably one of the most tricky corners around this circuit. And the pair of them, both Boilen Ferrer and Taisho Hardy, they paid the price for it. However, flying session is at the moment, Josh. Quickest time, of course, belongs to Gianpetro Oggiano. Istvan Pukki, not even a tenth off of him. Currently in the entire field spread, only 6/10 of a second, so incredibly close at lap times in this one, as we got drivers coming out for their next runs. Lenny Pepinter, Boilen Ferrer, Jeremy Glinia, all of them coming out onto the circuit. I can see Istvan Pukki leaving the pit lane as well. So still plenty of action to be had. It seems to be non-stop at the moment.
Non-stop indeed. Lenny Pepinter, I think will be the first one out for his second attempt as he heads up towards the hill into sector number 2. As the second round of qualifying start to begin. Only 6 minutes and 30 seconds left to go of the qualifiers, and it should be absolutely incredible. 6 minutes left to go until we decide who goes in and who gets out of the E-Series, who will qualify and who will just narrowly miss out. Lenny Pepinter definitely wants to qualify. Currently, Vroom are sitting 7th and 8th on a 28.479 and a 28.54 team. But Lenny Pepinter is in touching distance of Taisho Hardy, a 4.79 plays to a 4.51. As he heads out of the final couple of corners now. And damn, this could be a big lap for Lenny Pepinter.
Absolutely, it is make or break for the Vroom Esports team. It's looking like they're on the cusp, as it stands at the moment, of making it into the E-Series provisionally. However, they just seem to be able to not grab at that brass ring so far as he heads in towards the first 2 corners, headed up towards the S's section, which really can make or break your lappers. In towards now the next left-hander, utilising all the track possible, but not daring to touch the curbs so as to not spin on that inside as now. And utilising all the track possible, he's about to head up towards the first sector split. What is this improvement going to be? Just over 2/100 of a second, so it's not massive, but it is still important. Every 1,000th of a second matters in the E-Series qualifiers. Is now in towards this next hairpin, short shifting into 4th and getting the power down as early as possible. Lenny Pepinter with 5 minutes left to go in this session. This could possibly be his final run. He's not able to get back into the pit lane and then come out once again quick enough, but we'll have to wait and see what his fate decides. As now in towards out of Spoon Kirby, gets on the power a little bit too early, and I think grazes the curbs, and that is unfortunately going to really put a dampener on his lap. He's still up by a 10th of a second. Lenny Pepinter, what this lap could have been without that mistake, we'll have to wait and see. Is now in towards the next braking zone at the Casio Triangle, trying hard not to take too much of the curb on the inside. Is now off the exit of the final corner, opening up the DRS. Lenny Pepinter still able to go into P3.
Not a bad lap time there from Lenny Pepinter. We'll take that every day of the week into P3. But can he be dethroned by Boilen Ferrer? Yes, he can. A 27.955 for the rising star of Boilen Ferrer, making his debut in the PSGL E-Series like everyone else, and gets the top spot. And we break into the 27 to 27.955 as his teammate Istvan Pukki breaks into the 28 noughts but 28.038. Only a couple of thousandths away from him. Primoz Mitrovic decides to come back into the pit lane. What about Taisho Hardy? Currently in P7, he manages the Casio Triangle. He's about 2 tenths up in Sector 2. Can he ride anything out of the final sector? Thinks it wasn't good enough and decides to back out. Andrew Karapi currently P10 at the moment. Can he find any sort of time in that Mercedes car as he crosses the line into P6, beats his teammate of Primoz Mitrovic to 28.394. Not bad at all as Jeremy Glenier comes in towards the pit lane, and that is the second round of laps done. 3 minutes left to go. We probably have one more lap left to go for all these drivers.
Absolutely. Bulem Vera and Isfan Pookie really in control of the session. However, still very close throughout it. So, you know, there's still plenty of opportunities for a great scrap, and I don't imagine we'll be seeing a 1-2 like we saw in the first 2 sessions. Of course, VSR taking top spot in lobby 1, and then TF10 taking 1-2 in lobby 2. I'd imagine it's not going to be the same fate in the third lobby, given how close these guys are in terms of just raw pace in general. Trying to see if anyone's on a lap at the moment. Andrew Karapi coming into the pit lane, I believe, and Isfan Pookie not pushing at this point in time, which means the last outlaps are beginning. F1 Ferrari 516 currently on a 1 minute 28.308. He's not the first one out on circuit. That spot belongs to Jeremy Glenier, and he really does need a big improvement. Currently on a 1 minute 28.514. He needs to be up there with his teammate.
Absolutely so. He's going to need something in this lap. Does Taisho Hardy 3rd and 8th might not cut it for the Talent Factory team. Parnell are looking good though, alongside PSR 6th and 7th. Could probably do with a little bit of a quicker time, if I do say so myself. About 800 separate Andrew Karapi and F1 Ferrari in the FVR camp. He's on his outlap now. Will be starting the first couple of runs. Jeremy Glenier actually will be starting the final run in qualifying. Currently in P9. 1 minute 35 seconds left to go in the session. Andrew Karapi retiring in the pit. So who he's thinking he's not going to try and improve, or maybe he can't improve. So it's all down to Primoz Mitrovic, who's currently in P7, to try and get PSR into the real deal. Here comes Jeremy Glenier as he comes into the Casio Triangle to start his final run in qualifying. 1 minute left to go. Place your bets. We are ready to go for the final runs in the PSGL E-Series qualifiers.
Here comes Jeremy Glenier now, beginning his lap with just over 1 minute left to go. This is crunch time for all these drivers. Is now in towards the first 2 corners. He comes reaching down in towards 4th gear, then short shifting up into 5th, now headed in towards the S's section. We haven't seen anyone actually go over the curbs and properly spin out here, so everyone, oh dear, Jeremy Glenier with a slight mistake, and maybe I jinxed him ever so slightly, touched the curb a little bit too much on the inside, but he's still gonna keep on trooping on this lap. It is still vital that he completes this run. However, he is down by over a 10th of a second. It's not looking good for Vroom Esports at the moment. It seems like all the hopes lie on Lenny Papinta's shoulders, but in towards now the hairpin comes Jeremy Glenier. He still needs to survive these last 2 sectors. He's got one of the Red Bull cars just in front of him now, and we'll have to wait and see how he's able to come on this lap. And actually, I don't believe either of the Parnell boys are going to be able to complete their outlaps, because with 8 seconds left to go in this session, the furthest man up the road is Bulem Ferrer. He currently is, he's not even in the 3rd sector, so the clock has struck 0. Neither Parnell driver is going to be able to continue on a lap here. Hopefully the AI gets out of the way of Jeremy Glenier, but it's not looking good at this point in time. It's now in towards the Casio Triangle. Will the F1 god smile on Glenier's face? And it is not looking good for him. I think the Ferrers puts him off, and now he is spun in towards the gravel. That is his lap time. It's going to be over and done with. Gianpietro Oggiano, can he top this session? He's up by almost 2/10 of a second. Is now in towards the start-finish line. He goes. Gianpietro Oggiano down and not able to overtake either of the Parnell Racing boys. Is now up towards the line. F1 Ferrari 516. He goes into P3. His teammate Nardi Perez currently sitting in 10th position. He'll be able to jump up into 4th position. That is a nice time indeed from him. Maybe FBR could be the dark horses in this session. Primoz Miklavčić will be next up, and this is a very rare position for him to be in. Quite far down the order, but we'll see what he can do. Is now out of the final corner. He comes For PSR, his teammate out of this session and him only in 8th place, and I believe that is PSR's day over and done with, as Lenny Papinta invalid on his lap. He won't be completing it, and it will be P7 for Lenny Papinta.
It's pretty much a sentence of what went wrong for VRM and PSR 7th and 10th and 8th and 9th. But it is Parnell who get the job done with a 127.955 for Qualifiers. Couldn't make their third runs, but what could have been a third run if they could? This will be definitely close indeed, Dylan Warren, as we head into the results of lobby number 3. And all our lobbies, we had a front row lockout from one of the teams. It's Parnell Racing who lock out the front row for lobby number 3. Buonanfera gets the job done with a 27.955 compared to Isfan Pookie with a 28.038, 83 thousandths separating the two. F1 Ferrari sits third with Nardi Perez in P4 for FVR, really putting it out the bag on the final runs. Talent Factory Esports 5th and 6th, looking a bit nervy with Gianpetro Oggiano in 5th and Taisho Hardy in P6. Lenny Papinta sits 7th for Vroom with Primoz Miklovic in 8th for PSR. Andrew Karapi sits 9th for PSR also, and at the back of the field is Jeremy Grenier, in P10 for Vroom, and we'll be back with the results of the PSGL E-Series qualifiers with a quick word from our sponsor.
Of course, Imola is going to be home to the first round of E-Series, and we'll be waiting to see what 5 community-based teams will be fighting the likes of Veloce, Race Clutch, Williams, Haas, and R8G. 5 big names in the esports community. So I'm very excited to see how these teams can really cope. But I think before we go into the results, we do just have to give a big congratulations to all the drivers that competed tonight. Of course, this is a very big stage. A lot of drivers facing the mark this evening, but only 5 teams can go through, and hopefully we'll find out very soon.
Absolutely. Apologies there. I think I was muted for my little speech there. Apologies for that. Hopefully you're all okay now, but we will get to the nitty-gritty of all the results now. But yeah, absolutely fantastic 3 lobbies of qualifying results we just had there. Lobby 1 being the quickest with a 27.8, I think it was, to Andrei Tarabukin in VSR, as we try and get the lobby results all on stream as best as we can. But it's been absolutely incredible all the way through, and definitely our rising stars, probably VSR were up there, Parnell were up there, of course, NLR a big shot as well in lobby number 2 as well. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see who goes through here, Dan, because we don't know yet, and no one knows really yet, as we try and get everything ready to go.
Absolutely. I believe we might be able to read the results out very soon. I think I'll wait for confirmation from Big C, because we do have the 5 teams that have qualified plus the reserve team, and just to not spoil anything, but it has been very tight throughout the entirety of the grid. So I think a big well done is in order for all of the teams partaking this evening, and hopefully they're going to give the pro teams come Imola a big run for their money.
Absolutely. So we'll just wait confirmation until I can read them out. But it is looking very, very decent as well. The drivers, obviously, who will be qualified will go to Imola with the pro teams. And of course, we said the Veloce Elites will be there. So will RHG, Haas F1 Esports, Williams Esports as well. And alongside Race Clutches, I can now reveal the drivers and teams who will be in the PSGL E-Series. And we will ride them up one by one. So topping the timing sheets in the qualifiers is TF10 Esports with a 175.871 going to them. They have qualified for the PSGL E-Series. Second place is going to Viscero Esports with a 175.893. Third place is Parnell Racing with a 175.993. Number 4 is FVR Esports, with a 176.181. And the final full-time results will go to SRT Esports with a 176.218. And our reserve team will be ET8 Esports with a 176.222. And as you said, Dan, 4 thousandths separating SRT and ET8 was the gap between who got through and who were knocked out.
I think that's going to be a big kick in the teeth to ET8, but they still had a very impressive showing this evening. And of course, if one of the teams that cannot make it to the first round at Imola, ET8 will be shafted into that position, so they will always be on standby. However, big congratulations to TF10 for qualifying as the fastest team. It was just 11,000 seconds, thousandths of a second, between themselves and VSR. So incredibly close margins. And once Imola is underway, surely they're going to be fighting it out with the very top teams.
Absolutely. So obviously massive commiserations to the likes of Terra Factory Esports, QRT, Shazoo, PSR, Vroom, NLR, Trust, WR, FRT, and Racing FR Online. So close there, but hopefully they will have another crack at another event. But that pretty much concludes it for our qualifiers here tonight. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We have just hit, I think, 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you all very, very much for that. Check out our sponsors, GT Omega, as well. Thank you very much for sponsoring this event as well. They've done an absolutely brilliant job with all their products and services. 5% off with code PSGL, I think it is. But from me, Joshua Davis, and from Dan Field, thank you all very, very much for watching, and we'll see you next week on the grid at Imola. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and good night.